A few months ago, I was scrolling through my friend's recent Steam activity and got enticed by the key art of a game that one of my friends had gotten an achievement in. That game was Vivid Stasis, a free music game in early access developed by Team Vivid Stasis. It sat in my Steam library for far too long without getting played, and when I did boot it up, I was incredibly impressed. Hell, it's easily the most impressive indie music game I've ever played. At a base level, Vivid Stasis is a non-key-sounded 4-lane music game intended for keyboard play, along the lines of DJ Max and Easy 2-On's 4-button modes if they didn't have key sounds. It has your standard chip notes, whole notes, as well as bumper notes, which visually span either the left or right 2 lanes, and hitting either of the buttons for those lanes will activate that note. None of that is particularly novel at a surface level, but the devil is in the details. Vivid Stasis has a ridiculous amount of style, bangers, and way more progression systems to engage with than I was expecting out of something you can download entirely for free. Rhythm play is the main gameplay mode from which you select the song, select your modifiers, and quickly get to pressing some buttons. The song select screen here is more feature-rich than I expected, with proper folders, sorting modes, and online leaderboards for each chart. As you start scrolling through these and hearing their previews, you'll quickly realize just how little filler made it into the game. I can count the songs I don't particularly care for on a single hand, and everything else is an absolute banger, so kudos to the team for having spectacular taste. To remain cohesive with the game's pixel art style, all of the song jackets in this game were redone to fit into that style, which is a really nice touch. By default, rhythm play doesn't give you any clear gauge to worry about, and you're mainly playing songs for score. You can, however, optionally enable a number of different clear gauges called decryption styles, which mostly behave like Beatmania 2DX's hard and EX hard gauges, where your gauge starts full and you automatically fail out of a song when the gauge hits 0%. The charge and performance decryption styles let you farm batteries and points respectively. Harmony is a bit stricter and gains you significantly more of both resources at once. And Ultimate will fail you out of the song as soon as you miss a note, just like the hazard gauge in 2DX, but crank the rewards up even more. Despite having that many gauges to choose from, Vivid Stasis doesn't actually track which gauges you've cleared a song with. The only tracked chart statuses appear to be full combo and all critical, which is better than nothing I guess, but as a Harmony clear fiend, I wish the game tracked that for me. So now that we know how to farm currencies, what do points and batteries even get you? Points are spent in a shop accessible from the main menu. In the shop, you'll find a long list of songs at a variety of prices to unlock, as well as alternate character art to showcase on your title screen, and a rotating discounted song of the day. Batteries are spent to progress the game's story in the node flowchart mode. A major part of Vivid Stasis is its visual novel style's story mode, and it appears to be the biggest source of unlocks in the entire game, occasionally hiding songs behind puzzles as well. It's also completely broken for me. I can't get anything to happen in the node flowchart mode aside from just playing the prologue scene over and over again, and I don't understand why it's doing this. My battery counter has been maxed out for quite a while, and whenever I hover the next node, which should be activated for the price of 10 batteries, and press confirm on it, it just takes me back to the prologue anyway. I'm not entirely sure if this has to do with me running on Linux, but maybe I'm just an idiot who can't figure out this UI. Either way, I've been stumped for the last month. I'm not a fan of the idea of gating most of the game's unlocks behind a story mode like this one. I'm not a very narratively driven gamer in general, especially when it comes to arcadey genres like music games, and I think it kills the pacing of what I personally come to this game to engage with. I'd feel the exact same way if fighting games like BlazBlue or Persona 4 Arena actually gated half of their characters behind their lengthy visual novel story modes. Thankfully they don't. That said, there are clearly people out there who do enjoy this and resonate with the game's story mode, and I'm happy for them that it's there. I'm not asking for the story mode to be taken away entirely, but I do wish that there was an alternate method of accessing these unlocks for the people who are never going to be interested, but otherwise enjoy the rest of the game. Given how story is presented as a peer to rhythm content in the Steam description, I'm not expecting the developers to cave on this, and that's fine. At the very least, I'd like to figure out why this mode is broken for me so I can give it a fair shot and maybe reevaluate it later. SoundScan, on the other hand, is one of my favorite game modes in a music game I've ever seen. SoundScan features a number of rewards tracks, not unlike a battle pass, except there's no expiration date to worry about and you don't need to spend actual money on anything. Picking one of these reward tracks will take you to a different song select screen, this time limited to 3 randomly selected options of increasing difficulty. On the screen you can pick your base difficulty, and then the 3 options displayed will be derived from that choice. Your first choice is a song played with no modifiers on your base difficulty. Your second choice is a song played with no modifiers on the next difficulty up from your base difficulty, and your third choice is a song played on that same difficulty with some wacky modifiers you won't find in any other mode. Each of these choices awards increasing amounts of progress towards your selected reward track. Unlike in rhythm play, a sound scan decryption style is forced onto the player in this mode, so you'll need to be good enough to survive the entire song to get those progression points, and this may shift you towards playing lower difficulty charts. If you fail out of a song, the random options presented to you don't rotate, so you can reattempt the same song again, or you can switch to an easier challenge instead, and clearing either of those will rotate the options again. One of the things I find most overwhelming about booting up a new music game is being faced by too many songs to choose from. While this is less of a problem in Vivid Stasis due to how much is initially locked behind the other progression systems, a feature like SoundScan can really help you start playing the game instead of being paralyzed by choice, and it's become the default mode that I gravitate to when I don't have a specific goal in mind for a play session. I wish more games had a mode like this, and I think it might even have enough value on its own without incorporating a whole other progression system into it. Course mode operates a lot like the Done in Te mode in Beatmania 2DX or Skill Analyzer in Sound Voltex. The game presents you with a list of 4 song courses of increasing difficulty, where you must clear each song sequentially while maintaining the same clear gauge across all 4 songs. If you do make it all the way through, then congrats! Your class indicator in the upper right corner of the UI will be updated to indicate your new skill level. World Crossplay is a multiplayer mode where you can join a lobby with some of your Steam friends and jam on some tracks together. There are no public lobbies or matchmaking, so you'll need to form your own private group in order to experience this at all. While this mode is perfectly viable for more competitive face-offs, it could use some improvements to facilitate more social play. Right now, all players are forced to play the difficulty that the host chooses, which does make things a bit awkward for players of mixed skill levels. Players can already select different decryption styles, so it doesn't seem like that much of a stretch to allow players to pick their own difficulty like you can in most arcade music games with matching modes. It would also be nice to be able to cycle which player chooses the next track, or have some sort of song queue or voting in place. Aside from that, Vivid Stasis does let you view some full combo and all critical stats on your profile. The profile can be customized with unlockable titles, but oddly enough it never shows up in multiplayer lobbies anywhere, which makes me question the point of even having it there if you're the only one to see it. While I'm on the topic, your class ranking from course mode doesn't show up in multiplayer lobbies either, which is an odd omission. Vivid Stasis has a rating system, which gives you a quantifiable metric to measure your best performance. Most music games have picked up a system like this over the last decade of releases, and this one isn't that different from the ones you already may be familiar with. The twist with the Vivid Stasis rating system is that it actually bothers to explain it to you in-game, and you can see all of the scores which contribute to your current rating so you can understand exactly where it came from and how you can tangibly improve it. Next year, it will have been 20 years since I started playing music games when a DDR Extreme cabinet finally showed up 2 towns away. While I've been playing the genre on and off over time due to repetitive stress injury concerns, I'll always be a music gamer at heart, and Vivid Stasis is clearly a game that understands the needs and wants of highly enfranchised music gamers and brings its own story-driven spin on it. And despite catering to the taste of highly enfranchised players, it doesn't do so while sacrificing accessibility. While the skill ceiling for this game is quite high, the barrier of entry to playing the game on the lowest difficulty is pretty low, giving players new to the genre a taste of what being deep in the rabbit hole feels like better than any other free game in the genre. It's definitely the game that I'll recommend people check out from now on if they're curious about music games and why I love playing them so much. Did I mention it's free? It's a no-brainer to go download Vivid Stasis, and I hope you go give it a shot.